We've been following this new hurricane, which uh, was in Florida yesterday, and then it moved up to through Georgia. And now, as you know, we sit in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and it's banging on the door out there now. But I think winds now are only about 50 miles an hour. Um, when it hit Panama Beach in Florida, the winds were just about 155 miles per hour. And it's the worst hurricane ever to hit that city in history. And it hit at 155 miles per hour. Now, from what you could see about on the television, I know everybody's watching it. It just about destroyed this Panama City. But Panama City, I mean, it's just uh, sitting there hanging, and nothing looks well built or anything like that. And the roofs were flying, and then a black policeman came to the scene, and they asked him, they said, "Have you ever seen anything like this?" And he said, "No." And he said, "I was in the service for several years in the service, and though we had we fought with guns and battles overseas, and everything was destroyed, and it looks just like this out here, except one item. The only thing I don't see out here is a tank that's overturned. Other than that, I see all the roofs are torn off, all the buildings are knocked down, and you could sit there and watch the roofs just fly away, from that wind, 155 miles an hour wind. But what it tells me is that I don't understand it. I mean, who's given permits to build these buildings, and how are they going to build them back? Because if that hurricane comes again, those buildings will be there for one day if they're built like they are now. I just haven't seen any shabby buildings like that. And what I'd recommend is getting an architect and an engineer to have to sign every permit to get a permit to build the building back, because this is ridiculous. And I'm surprised right there a lot of people didn't get killed. I think so far only 2 were killed. But what happened to the people? They run into the woods. The ones that, because a lot of them did not abandon the place with the hurricane. They were told to leave, but they didn't. They're all up in the woods, and they don't know how to get them out. And if we can't get them out, then we really don't know how many people were dead and how many people were killed by this hurricane. But I have a feeling there are a lot of dead people in those woods. But what's on the beach down there, I mean, it is completely ridiculous. And anybody that's ever been in construction, I mean, if I was the mayor of that town, or if I was the governor of Florida, show those pictures. I know it was 155 miles an hour wind, but a lot of buildings, if they have good foundations, concrete, steel, whatever, they're going to be there. Now, I know one gas station, the big roof outside over the tanks flew off, and then you could see other buildings look like they're little concrete buildings. You could see the roof flying off while from the pictures that the television station took during the hurricane. But it finally left this area, but I got a feeling that there are a lot of people negligent in this area. Buildings, permits, building them. And one reason it's never been hit. This is the first time in 100 years. It usually goes a different way around Panama, but it doesn't come into Panama City and hit the beach like this did. Because you could see some of the buildings, wooden buildings, are built this far from the water, sitting there in the water, maybe a foot. Those buildings were probably down before the hurricane really hit good. Now, the other thing is the hurricane finally left there, and now it's coming up the coast. It went through Georgia, and it's moving fast. It's nothing like Florence. and 2 weeks ago. This thing is moving real fast. Florence was hanging around for weeks and weeks. And now the hurricane is down to 50 miles an hour, but it's up here in South Carolina, and it's in the, it's on the beach. It's outside our door. We're only about 3 blocks from the ocean, but 50 miles, there's no question. 50 miles an hour is a lot different than 150 miles an hour. And so I don't think it has too much longer to go. It's been through Georgia, it's going through South Carolina, and I think it's going to go through North Carolina, and it should about die, but these winds feel pretty strong when you go out there. Even 50 miles an hour, you could see the winds, really going pretty hard. But it's nothing like it was in Florida. But I don't know. This gave Panama City a test, because if we have to build buildings like we have in Panama City on the beach, we shouldn't have buildings on the beach nowhere down the coast to Florida. If they're just going to be sitting there, hanging there, and you don't have a permit signed by an architect and an engineer, we should not have anything on the beach. In fact, all your buildings, and I've seen cities that have this, should be in the second row, because generally there's a street behind the beach, and let them build on the second row across the street from the beach with the road in front of them. But don't have nothing on the ocean front if you're going to put it up like this, because I don't know how many people were killed here. I have a feeling there were quite a big number, which we'll find out probably in the next couple of weeks. But there's no way you could live through this storm and sit on the beach in a little shack like they had there. Thank you.